Go into any city in America and you will see legions of young fatherless kids explicitly acting out the lyrics in the music that they are listening to every second of the day. And yet we're supposed to believe that they're not influenced at all.
Takeoff. For those of you who don't know, the rapper Takeoff had died. It's a sad truth. You know, many in the community are having a hard time accepting how this came about and how in the world again we have another rapper who's died. This is the seventh uh popular rapper who has died this year. So we have a pattern going on here. We have an issue. Okay. Um this was over a dice game. But what it looks like, Takeoff was not even playing dice. According to what the articles are showing, he was just standing by, smoking a cigar. And something went wrong, and then a bullet strike him. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds that one of his men actually shot him by accident. It sounds like they were trying to shoot somebody else and they missed and he got hit. That's what it sounds like. It's sad, and I'm not justifying it. And I want to say prayers goes out to Takeoff's family. I'm sure he has children, 28 years old. I'm not a fan of their music. I don't support what they preach and what they tell our young people to do. But we have to look at this pattern and ask a number of questions. Why is this happening to so many of our black men? So, Darth Vader, I want to open the door for you here. What is your perspective on this? Why do you think this is going on?
I think it's because of the things that they promote in their music. I mean, just look at what they're talking about, guns, drugs, hoes, all this other stuff that they keep pushing on the community. And if they think that's the lifestyle that is glamorous and warranted and this is what they're supposed to do, that's how they're going to live.
So, in other words, the music that they promote, in essence, the message of their music is the very thing that they themselves are experiencing.
It's like you said, Olives, live by the sword, die by the sword.
You die by the sword. Wow. Well, I mean, you're giving me some simple wisdom here. I say simple because some people will not agree what you are saying is true. They would like to make it an idea. They would like to call it racist. They would like to say all different things. But what we know for certain is that these young men are dying by the hands of other black men.
Well, I mean, they can try to complicate it as much as they want, but it's just a simple fact that it is what it is. I mean, you promote this stuff, it seeps into the culture and into the brains of the youth. This is what they grew up listening to. This is how they, interpret life. And this is what the result is.
Wow. I think what you said here is exactly what Matt Walsh said. I've said it in my channel. We've had videos. I think Tom McDonald and what was his name? Tom McDonald. You can blame the rapper. Tom McDonald. Who else was that? Anyway,
it was Dax.
Dax. Tom McDonald and Dax. Right? They had that song. Tom McDonald had a number of songs about the rapper the rap industry. I hate hip hop. Dear rappers. So he kind of speaks about this, and we have reaction videos where we said, guys, if you promote violence, there's gonna be violence, right? The Bible says what you sow, you will reap. So it unfortunately is just the way of the world. You're not gonna avoid that. If you sow wickedness, the Bible says you shall of yourself reap that. And I'm not saying this man deserved to die in the condition that he did. What I'm trying to say is the culture, obviously, there is a problem in the way that we promote our culture and the kind of things that we lift up. And if we're lifting up violence and wickedness and drugs, kids carry it out. And the very men who speak about these things, they themselves find themselves victim to the same message, And I think you put it well. So I'm gonna let Matt Walsh do his thing here. We're just gonna listen and pay close attention to what he's saying, because I think he's going to regurgitate everything we're saying here in the best, uh, you know, uh, in the nicest way possible. Let's take a listen.
Free gold bar. Don't want to miss out. Text Walsh to 989898. We begin today with deja vu. A rapper has been shot and killed. You are, I suspect, not overly shocked by this development. This time it was someone who goes by the stage name Takeoff and was part of a popular rap group called Migos. The Daily Wire has more on the story. Rapper Takeoff was shot and killed in Houston in the early Tuesday morning. According to TMZ, the 28-year-old recording artist was part of the group Migos. Law enforcement sources and several witnesses told TMZ that the fatal incident occurred just after 2:30 a.m. when police were called to 810 Billiards and Bowling, Houston. The sources said Takeoff, whose real name is Kershnick Carey Ball, was playing dice with bandmate Quavo when a fight broke out among participants. This led to one person allegedly opening fire and striking Takeoff in or near the head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Two other individuals who were also allegedly injured during the altercation taken to the hospital, but their conditions unknown. The sources said Quavo was not hurt. So Takeoff now joins a lengthy list of murdered rappers, and it's a list that seems to be growing with increasing rapidity in recent months. Just this past September, the rapper P&B Rock was shot and killed at a chicken and waffles restaurant in Los Angeles. A couple months before that, in July, a rapper named Jay DeYoungin was shot by multiple gunmen who pulled up in a black truck and opened fire while he was sitting outside of his home in Louisiana. That same month, a rapper named Trouble was killed in a home invasion robbery in Atlanta. Overall this year alone, at least 7 rappers have been murdered. That's at least 15 since 2020. 5 a year on average, which is an extraordinary figure when you consider that the murder rate for performers in other genres is effectively 0. I mean, there are more rappers killed in a year than country singers killed in a decade or a century or ever. That's not because there's some kind of racist vendetta against rappers. There isn't any serial killer on the loose targeting hip-hop artists, as far as I know. The difference between rappers and country stars, of course, is that rappers live lifestyles of criminality and violence. They promote criminality and violence. They glorify criminality and violence. And then they fall victim to the very brutality that they encourage. In fact, I pulled up the lyrics to one Migos song totally at random. Because I don't know any of their music. I'm not very familiar with the catalog, so I just looked it up. And the first one that came up was a song called Open It Up. And the very first lines in the song are, shoot through your car door. That's the first line in the song. Then Takeoff raps, open it up, double cup, feeling the opium. It's AK in the cut, my N-word's toting it. We're trying to look appropriate. Don't show up and look at me wrong, I'm blowing it. You trying to plot and we knowing it. Throw away, I shoot a pistol, then throw it. My N-word shoot without warning. Now, we've grown, of course, very accustomed to this sort of content in rap songs. It's not at all shocking or surprising at this point. But still, I mean, really think about what he's saying here. He's bragging about murdering human beings simply because they look at him funny. He is boasting of and thereby promoting murderous savagery. He's saying that he'll kill you for no reason, and then someone killed him for no reason. My point is not that this young man deserved to be murdered. I mean, nobody deserves to be killed over a game of dice. It's a tragic, senseless waste of human life and potential. My point is that rap music has helped to create a culture of crime and brutality, and that culture has become so pervasive, so out of control, that even the rappers themselves are falling victim to it every other month now. They're being eaten by the beast they create. They're not operating in a vacuum, of course. I mean, they're merely the front men. They're the salesmen knocking on your door, peddling this filth. But behind them is the entire music industry, which is run by much wealthier people who know exactly what they're doing. They know how poisonous the product is. And they know that many of their salesmen are dying by it. And they don't care. But as rap music gets more dumb and gets more brutal, more violent, more toxic, it also becomes more and more mainstreamed and ubiquitous. In my brief research into Migos, I found a picture of the 3 members of the band posing on the red carpet at the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. Because what could be more appropriate for children than music that explicitly encourages them to commit drive-by shootings? Of course, the apologists will absurdly claim that music lyrics are just words. They don't influence anyone. Go into any city in America and you will see legions of young, fatherless kids explicitly acting out the lyrics in the music that they are listening to every second of the day. And yet we're supposed to believe that they're not influenced at all. It is an outrageously stupid claim. In reality, human beings are influenced by words and ideas. We are, especially when those words and ideas are communicated through music. So it's not that they're influential as long as it's not music, it's the other way around. It's especially influential in music. There's a reason why brands have, most corporate brands have their own little advertising jingles, because words on their own can have immense power, but when you set them to music, they become embedded in your brain, in your soul. They become a mantra, a slogan to live your life by. To a young fatherless black kid in the city, rap music isn't just music, it's a lifestyle, it's a message about how to live, it's a message about how to conduct yourself, how to be a man. And these are kids who are not getting that message anywhere else. They don't have role models showing them how to be men. Where do they get it? They get it from rap music. It is a guide, it is a map pointing the child towards his own destruction. Now, of course, here's the irony here. The left will agree with everything I'm saying about the power of words and ideas, except when it comes to rap music. They will say that if you use biologically correct pronouns to refer to a trans person, that you are then directly causing the trans person to kill himself. If you say criticize a hospital for mutilating minors, your words are directly causing violence and bomb threats against the hospital. If you say question the election results in 2020, your words directly led to the riot on January 6th. They directly caused a crazy homeless guy to break into Nancy Pelosi's house and assault her husband with a hammer. In all of these contexts, and in any other context where conservatives are saying anything about any subject, words, we're told, have enormous consequence. But when rappers spend decades explicitly glorifying and encouraging street violence, and lots of people who listen to that music commit acts of street violence, sometimes committing them against the rappers themselves, the very people who are just sermonizing about the power of words and ideas will throw their hands up and say, I don't know, I don't see a connection here. I don't see it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Words have consequences unless they're said over a bass-heavy beat, in which case they exist in this kind of consequence-free zone, apparently. Yet, we know that that's not the case at all. In fact, in few areas of life do words have greater consequences or worse consequences than in the rap industry. Consequences that even now the people peddling this stuff can't escape. Now let's get to our 5 headlines.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background about me before I had hopes and aspirations of going into architecture and then truck driving and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My initial goal in life was to go into what was called music therapy, which music therapy is the idea of helping people with mental issues through the power of music.
Wow.
Okay. People don't realize, like Matt was saying there, people don't realize how deeply embedded and ingrained music is in the human psyche and how much of an influence that has on people. The fact that now you put words to that music gives it that much more power.
Yeah.
It gives those words that much more power.
Absolutely.
And these record labels and stuff, they take out millions and millions and millions of dollars of life insurance on these rappers because they know that what they're promoting and what they're putting out there as a product is absolutely going to end up as their demise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when that happens, guess
Hmm.
who gets paid out? It
Yeah.
ain't the families that get paid out, it's the record label that gets paid out.
Absolutely. Not only do they get paid out on the lives of the deaf rapper, they also end up owning their royalties,
Hmm.
which implies every time their songs are played, and which I've also discovered when rappers dies, when a rapper is dead, is that their music start to sell even more, like a dead man speaks louder kind of thing, right? So
Look at what happened with Tupac.
there we go. So their songs sell out even more. Families don't benefit from that. Record label make more money on the death of the rapper. When he is dead, he is worth more than when he was alive.
Hmm. And it goes all back, like him, Matt, when Matt was talking, it just took me right back to high school of, I wanted to help people with music. I wanted to, try
Mhm,
to make
mhm,
people see that there was more
mhm.
to life and help ease people's burdens through the power of
Of music,
music because I knew how much it
power it has.
power it has over the human psyche.
It is. It is.
And that's the thing is
Mhm.
that power is a double-edged sword.
Yes, it is. I mean, recently I was, as you know, I was going through some situation, and all I needed was a song. I gotta tell you, man, the darkness can come at you sometime. Your thoughts can play on your psyche, and sometimes you can feel overwhelmed. I
Mhm.
can pray, I can read my Bible, but I was doing these things. But one thing I needed at that moment was a song. And the moment I heard the song, I was freed. I had my uh I had my cousin who died from cancer. His name is Angel Gabriel. The man who led me to become a Christian. At the age of 35, I had to do his funeral. So
Oh
I
man,
became a Christian because of him. And then 3 years later, he's gone, and here I am becoming a pastor. And I'm like, "What? Are you kidding?" And he's like,
you might cut out.
"Do his funeral." Sorry. So I had to bury the man who led me to Christ. So with that, is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember the issue that I had struggling getting over the death of AJ, which nobody knew for years. I was struggling with that. And would you believe me, it was the song by Tom McDonough entitled Cancer that got me over that hurdle.
I believe it.
So when the moment I watched the song by Tom McDonough, with all the sermons, with all the prayers, with everything that I was doing, I needed to hear a song to get me from that mental struggle that I had over the death of my friend, to actually accept it. I never actually accepted it because he died so young, just got married. He had 3 months to get out of school and be a full-time minister. We got into this thing together. We both went into medicine together. We started doing, I mean, we went into nursing together, and then we both got into ministries together. So he's gone. I'm alive. He converted me. I'm here. He's dead. And his wife called me to do his funeral. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I
Hmm.
struggled with the mental issue with that goes with that for years until I heard one song from Tom McDonald. That was my breakthrough.
Yeah,
So
very much.
people who sitting there thinking music doesn't have an influence on the mind of people. I said, I don't want to call you stupid, but you are delusional.
Hmm.
You think record labels are putting hundreds and millions of thousands of dollars to back up these artists, and like they don't know the impact that this is having. This stuff is more influential than politics, is more influential than the church.
Hmm.
Entertainment industry speaks more volume to the minds of individuals than any other means in the entire world.
Especially the youth who are moldable. Their minds are malleable to and susceptible to this type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're saying. And Matt Walsh is right on point. There's nothing he said here that I don't agree with. Um, I want to say this, and then we wrap it up. In the scripture, Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 and 8, be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, and he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Friends, I'm not going to add my thought to that. I'll let you guys interpret that on your own. We're going to move on to the next part of our video.